Good morning, students. In this video, I am going to explain about third experiment, that is divergence of a laser beam. So before that, we need to understand some points about laser and working of laser, and also about this formula which is using in this experiment. So we know that the laser beam is different from the normal light. So laser beam is having some special features. We are having in theoretical portion also. The laser beam is having some special qualities like it is highly monochromatic, it is highly intensity beam having high brightness. Also it is having low divergence, and it is having straight light. This is having highly directional beam. So these are all the special features of laser, including coherence, highly coherence beam. So these are all the special features. So first, before that, we need to understand what is the laser definition. So laser is nothing but light produced due to the amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So laser is nothing but light amplified due to the stimulated emission of the radiation. So this laser beam is nothing but having different special properties to produce the special properties, also special methods to produce. There are the different types of laser systems to produce the laser light. Those are ruby laser, that is the solid state laser, and helium neon laser, that is gas laser, and also CO2 laser, that is also gas laser, and semiconductor laser means uses the semiconductor materials. Having different types of laser systems having process, it follows a particular process that is said to be the lasing action. Lasing action is nothing but first we need to identify the system, optical system, in which the population inversion is achieved, and after that we need to apply the mechanism of pumping mechanism. Is also different types of pumping mechanisms are there. So we need to apply the pumping mechanism. So depends on the pumping mechanism, depends on the type of the laser, we need to select the pumping mechanism. After that, population inversion is achieved, means higher levels attains the more number of charge carriers than compared to the lower levels, that is the population inversion. After that, stimulated emission. After the population inversion, we will get the stimulated emission. In stimulated emission, the charge carriers will move from higher level to lower levels by the input energy. So that is the stimulated emission and amplification. This is the process. This process is said to be the lasing action. This lasing action is observed in semiconductor laser and ruby laser, and also these gas lasers also. We can observe these type of lasing action in all type of lasers. Depends on the pumping mechanism, depends on the optical system which from which we are getting laser. The laser frequency is varies, wavelength of the laser which is outgoing, it varies. So this laser beam is depends on the different types of type of method we are observing. Here the apparatus main, here we can understand the here what is the experiment here, finding the divergence, understanding the divergence of a laser beam. Further, to determine the divergence of a laser beam, and apparatus required is 0.5 milliwatt helium neon laser, that is, this is the apparatus required, and an optical bench and also a screen. These are all the main apparatus we required. An optical bench is nothing but we can do the optical experiments including laser, and so we can apply the Mala's law, we can do any type of optical experiment. It is a leveled bench, we can do the optical experiments. And next, with the formula which we are using in this experiment is, we need to find the angular divergence. Divergence is nothing but how much it is deviating when it is traveling from after traveling a certain distance, how much it is deviating, how much angle is deviating, that we need to calculate. For that we are using this formula. This formula is a basic formula for the angular divergence. Angular divergence is nothing but the deviation, deviation which is calculated when the laser light is traveling in the medium, that is theta naught is equal to width of the width. It depends on the width of the laser which is incidenting on a screen. By calculating the width of the laser at different distances, we need to calculate the w1 and w2. W1 is the width of the laser at first distance, w2 is the width of the laser at the second distance, capital D is the distance between the source and screen. So So we can calculate the width of the laser at the different distances. From that we need to understand the angular divergence. For that I am using this here setup. That is, I am taking the laser source. We can understand from this diagram. No much equipment is not needed here. We need only the laser source which will produce the laser. After that we need the screen, and we need a meter scale to calculate distance between the source and screen. Here the main formula is theta naught angular divergence is equal to W2 square minus W1 square under square root upon D. D is the distance between the position 1 and position 2. W1 is nothing but the spot diameter at position 1. W2 is nothing but the spot diameter at position 2. D is the distance between the position 1 and position 2. Here we will follow the observation table. So this observation table is nothing but we will calculate the width of the laser at one particular distance, and W2 is the width of the laser at the particular second distance, and capital D is the distance between the screen, the position distance between the first position and the second position, and theta naught can be calculated using the above formula. So we can substitute these W1, W2, capital D values in the theta naught formula. We will get this column and we will get this mean value. So this is the process we need to get. First, what we need to do, we need to switch on the laser source. After that, after switch on the laser source, the light will fall on the screen. So we need a screen, white screen, on which the graph sheet is attached. So the laser light coming from this laser source will fall on this screen, which is having a graph sheet. When the laser source will fall on this graph sheet, then what will happen? A spot will create. The laser will create a spot with this light. When this light will fall on the screen, then the first spot will identify. That spot will having a diameter of width of the first spot is W1. The spot diameter is width of the first spot is taken as the W1. We can calculate by using a pencil. We can round off on that graph sheet which is attached to the screen, and we can round off that first spot as width of the first spot as W1, that is taken at the position 1. For example, it is at the 10 centimeter from the laser source, and after that we need to move for the further 10 centimeters, that is the position 2 is nothing but we need to draw the second spot using a pencil. Again the laser will fall here in the second spot using the screen is placed at the position 2. So the laser will fall here, and the spot will identify the using this spot we can calculate the width of the second spot, that is W2. Capital D is nothing but distance between the W1 and W2. So from that here first position is kept at the 10 centimeter, the second position is kept at the 20 centimeters from the laser source. So distance between the position 1 and position 2 is taken as the 10 centimeters. So from these two cases, from this one case, in the one case I am calculating W1 is the width of the first laser spot at position 1, W2 is the width of the second laser spot at position 2. So by calculating W1 and W2 by measuring, we can mark that laser spot using a pencil, and we can measure using a scale, or by calculating how many squares it is covered in the graph sheet, we can calculate the width of the spot. So width of the spot can be calculated using the number of squares covered in the first case, and also the number of squares covered in the second case using a graph sheet. The graph sheet is attached to the screen. So W1 and W2 is measured. In one case we have to take the width of the laser at the two positions. Position 1 is at position 1 is the width of the laser is W1. At position 2 the width of the laser is W2. So W1 W2 indicates the width of the lasers at the positions 1 and 2. D is the distance between the position 1 and 2. Theta naught is the angular divergence. So we can calculate angular divergence by using these values, and W1 is can be calculated. W1 can be calculated at the position 1. In the same process will be repeated for the second time and third time also. In first case, in every case we need to draw circle or spot identification using a pencil, that is taken as W1 for position 1 and W2 for the position 2. In each case we need to calculate W1 and W2 for the three cases. So from that we can calculate the mean value of the angular divergence. The mean value can be calculated like this, and here we can understand the procedure by reading these points. The procedure is the laser mounted on a upright kept at the end of the optical bench. So as I already told, we need a optical bench, leveled bench, which on which we can do the optical experiments. That is said to be the optical bench. So on which we will kept a laser light at one corner, uh, that is kept at using a some base, and after that the second point, the screen is mounted on another right. The screen is placed on which the laser light will fall on the, we need to place that the laser light will fall on that screen about 50 centimeters. We can keep at any distance. By changing the distance, the d values will changes. The d value should increase. First, the d distance between the position 1 and position 2 should be 10 centimeter. In the second case, that d should be 20 centimeters. In the third case, d should be 30 centimeters. So by considering these points, we need to change the positions 1 and position 2. The second point is the screen is mounted on another upright. The screen is have to kept on the another side of the laser at about 50 centimeters from the laser, and after that we need to switch on the laser. It forms a red spot on the screen. As I already told, when you switch on the screen, the laser light will fall on the screen in the red spot, and the size of the spot W1 on the screen is measured. The width of this spot is can be measured, that is W1. The screen is moved further, say to 100 centimeters. The screen is moved to the 100 centimeter. The size of the spot W2 on the screen in the second position is measured. The distance d between the two positions of the screen is measured. Distance d is nothing but the position distance between the position 1 and position 2. The measurement is repeated three times, as that is the first case, and the second case also we need to change the position 1 and position 2. In these three cases we need to understand the width of the lasers at different positions. Every time we need to round off the laser spot using a pencil on the graph sheet. Every time we have to identify the laser positions at three cases. In the first case we will identify W1 and W2. In the second case also we will identify W1 and W2. In third case also we will identify W1 and W2. The measurement is repeated three times in different positions of the screen. They are recorded on tabular column 1. So this is the tabular column 1. Now we need to understand W1, W2 and D values, and we need to substitute in the tabular column. This is about the procedure. So as I already told, this is theory. Conventional light source emit the light in all directions around them. As we already know, laser light is different from the ordinary light. The laser light is having some special properties like highly divergent, high coherence, highly monochromatic, and highly directional and low divergence. The conventional light will emit in all directions, but laser light will travel in a single direction. So, therefore, the light emitted by such sources is non-directional and intensity rapidly decreases. So, this conventional light intensity slowly decreases with increasing the distance from the source. It is assumed that the source sends out the spherical waves which have a very high divergence. Unlike the conventional sources, a laser emits the light in single direction, because of which the intensity of light is very large. So the intensity of the light is very large. It can be assumed that the laser sends out plane waves which have the zero divergence. In practice, laser beam diverges slightly due to the diffraction effects. Therefore, a laser beam is characterized by an extremely low divergence. The laser beam is having the low divergence. When a laser beam is allowed to fall on a screen, a circular bright spot is seen on the screen. When the screen is moved near and far from the source, the size of the spot decreases and increases respectively. If W1 is the spot diameter of the laser beam at some position and W2 is the spot diameter at position, then the divergence theta naught is given by the relation that theta naught is equal to W2 square minus W1 square upon D. under square root, where d is the distance between the two positions. This is the, so from this, substituting these w1 w2 values for the three cases in the above formula and calculating every time theta naught. We have to calculate theta naught in the first case and the second case and third case. We can take the mean of this theta naught after calculating the three cases. Then we can calculate the angular divergence. From that, the angular divergence of the helium neon laser beam is found to be uh, understand, that is the this radiance. We can understand this using a